So we have an empty Excel spreadsheet, and it looks like we need to calculate the net commission for the salespersons that work at this bakery. And you're going to name this bakery with your name, and you're writing this bakery from the perspective of the business owner, and you're figuring out how much you need to pay your salespeople, your salesperson. Obviously, your sales associates or your salespersons, they're getting a commission out of the sales that they make, and you're going to take the tax off, or you're going to withhold tax, and then you're going to give them their checks, and that's going to be the net commission here. And you are given the quantity or the amount of cakes that each salesperson sold, and then the price per cake. So let's get started here. The salesperson total sales. We can calculate how much sales that each salesperson generated, or each person generated, by multiplying the amount of cakes that they sold and then the price per cake. So it's the amount or the quantity times the price of each unit. So it's basically this number times this number right here. But instead of multiplying the numbers manually, instead of doing 559 times 1299, what we're going to do is we're going to use the cell IDs themselves. So what we can do is press equals and then the cell, so that's B3, and you can see here it's highlighted, times C3. So these two are highlighted here, and this is going to be the result, 7,261. And what you notice here is that, let me zoom in a little bit here. What you notice here is the number or the product is presented, the 7,261. But if you see above in the formula bar, it tells you what cells you're doing the operations with, or what function that you're doing. And this is very important because if you use the functions, or if you use the cells themselves as opposed to multiplying the numbers manually, then you can copy the rule, or you can do the same thing for the remainder of the cells. So for the remaining cells, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to calculate the rest of the cells. All you have to do is basically Excel takes it as a rule, right? You assigned the first two, you assigned this cell to be equals to B3 times C3, and then you copy this cell down here, and Excel will automatically assume that this is also going to be B4 times C4. And you can see that that makes your job a lot easier. So how did I do that? Basically, after I multiplied these two cells, equals B3 times C3, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this little handle, the green square at the bottom right, and if you can see, my cursor changes into a black cross. Once it does that, you're going to click and hold, okay, and then I'm just going to drag down until the end of the cells, until the last salesperson. And then there it is. Excel will copy the formula for you, and it will do this, all these calculations for you automatically. And this is basically the point of Excel. This is basically the bread and butter, basically. I mean, instead of doing all these calculations manually, Excel will do it for you. All you have to do is just do the first one. So the second thing that we need to calculate is the commission, and it is at 10% of sales. So basically, each salesperson generated this amount of sales, and they only get 10% out of the total sales. Okay, so this is the sales that they generated for the entire bakery. This money belongs to the bakery, the 7,261 and 41 cents. And then the salesperson will get a 10% commission. So how can we calculate that? Well, let's create a formula. So let's say equals to D3, And to calculate a percentage of something, you just multiply it by the percentage. And some of you will be tempted to put 0.10. Excel actually can just take it as a percentage. So you can just literally do D3 times 10%. And Excel will calculate that for you. So for this instant, Ola, this salesperson generated 7,261 in sales for the bakery, and then their take-home pay or the commission is $726. That's their paycheck, basically. Alright, so I've calculated this. All I have to do is, again, copy the rule or the formula down all here. So I'm just going to grab this little green handle, the green square at the bottom right of the cell. I'm going to wait until my cursor turns into a black cross. Once it does that, I'm going to click and hold and then drag slowly until I reach the last cell. And there it is. We have all the commissions, and if you can see here, you can see this is sort of the rule. For this one, it's D10 times 10%. For this one, D6 times 10%. It just makes the job easier. The next thing we're going to calculate is the income tax at 25% of commission. So this is the tax that you're going to be withholding, and you're going to take it from the commission for the salesperson. If you've ever worked at a full-time job or at an hourly job or anything, you've noticed that if you made $500 a week, you might get $450, and that's because the business that you work for withholds about $50 for taxes, right? And this is basically the same idea. You're withholding a part of the money that the salesperson made, and that part is basically 25%. So let's do that. It's going to be equals E3, which is the cell of the commission. This is the amount that we're taking the taxes from, times 25%. There it is. So this is the tax that we're going to withhold. And I'm going to do the same thing that I've did in the past. And I'm going to copy the rule. So if you can see here. Now this is very important. Because if you you need to be a little bit patient, and it's fine to sort of, even if you do one at a time or two at a time, it just takes a little bit more practice. Okay, finally we have the net commission, the commission tax, and that's basically commission tax. That's basically the remainder of the money that they have. So each salesperson made some amount of money, and then when we take the tax off, that's going to be their net commission. That's going to be the money that they take. That's going to be the money that you print on the paycheck. So that's basically going to be the commission minus the tax. So we can do that. Equals E3 minus F3. Yep, it looks right. And you can always, sometimes you might mess it up, and sometimes you won't be looking at it correctly, because there's a lot of things that you're looking for in Excel. There's this and there's that. There's rows and columns. There's numbers and letters. It's easier to sort of, when you're thinking of three things at once, it's very easy to mess things up, and that's fine. I mean, if you did something like this, you're gonna notice that the cell that you chose was the wrong one. They highlighted the wrong one. So the highlighting kind of gives you a clue of what you're doing. So that's going to be F3. That's it. So this is the money that this person or this salesperson is going to take. So let me scroll down here. Let me do the same thing. And that's it. We calculated all the paychecks or the net commissions that each salesperson is going to make. Now, this is the first part of this exercise. For the next exercise, we're going to learn how to visualize our data. We're going to put a pie chart and a column chart, and that's going to be for the next video.